Hey, our final week that we're going to discuss is talking about money, right? This is kind of a touchy subject for a lot of people, but we really believe that God owns everything, and His Word speaks to our finances, right? Pastor Jeff preached on Proverbs 15, talking about money wisdom for marriage and families. So what's some lessons that you guys have learned over the years handling finances, maybe some stuff that you've done correctly, incorrectly, just what are some good lessons that we can help families with?
Good finance guy.
Oh, you want us to start?
Speak, guru.
I don't know about guru on that one.
I
You
think
lead
for
it, you do
us, I think for us it's just, and Pastor said this yesterday, just being on the same page when it comes to our money.
Keyword, say it louder. Whose money?
Our money.
Our
Yeah,
money.
that's
Yes,
good.
yes. It's not
Good word.
just mine, it's not just his, it's our money. And just being on the same page, especially with big purchases. But I'm one of these, I guess just because we've practiced this from the beginning, I'm one of these, even with a small purchase, I'm like, hey,
We talked about it.
we'll talk about it, I know Pastor emphasized those big purchases, but that's just our relationship when it comes to money.
Again, you're right, being the pastor administration here, I'm very passionate about generosity because that's really, it's one of our main values here at
Yes.
Christ Place. And we preach and teach it is what God wants, not for you, not from you, but what God wants for you. Let me get that right. Yeah, what God wants for you, not from you.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish we could say our entire marriage that we practice generosity like we do now. We didn't, just being confessional. However, when we got it right years ago, we've never missed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just wild. And we're not prosperity preaching or anything like that, because
Right.
good grief, it's not like we're loaded or anything like that. Blessings are a whole different thing than prosperity when it comes to that. But we've never missed anything. It's so neat how, the tithe we practice is just the base. And we not bragging, but we practice of being above the tithe and generosity. And again, it's just, we've never missed it. God always honors our obedience.
Yeah.
And so much when it comes to generosity is that to me, it's just as much a discipleship issue and obedience issue as me having prayer with God.
Yeah.
Me having a quiet time with God. Me sharing my faith with God. Me being obedient and not doing this. It's the same principle. It's an act of obedience. And for my family, as the head of the household, I don't want anything to be a barrier. Like I think Pastor talked about this yesterday. I don't want anything to be a barrier to impede God's blessings on my family. And I think so much we can use money and the lack of being generous, and it becomes a barrier. We communicate. And again, it really, if you want to boil everything down in a nutshell, it's all about communication here. And to quote a famous movie, what we have here is a failure to communicate. When we have an argument, it's because we have a failure to communicate.
Yeah.
But we're all on the same page when it comes to generosity and money.
It's funny, you talk about premarital counseling. One of the areas we talk to couples about is finances, setting a budget, setting some priorities. And inevitably, you've seen this too. You either have a spender and a saver or vice versa. And I would be the spender, she would be the saver in our marriage. And we had to figure that out, budgeting early on. We didn't live by a budget, so we didn't know where our money was going. We didn't tell our money where to go. We didn't, thankfully, God protected us. We didn't overspend, but boy, when a crisis came up, it was stressful, very stressful. And by crisis, I'm talking about a washer or dryer, not even a big thing. But really, God's taught us to budget and to tell our money where to go, so to speak. And then the giving piece for us, again, it's easy to say, well, you're pastors, you're supposed to, you have to. We want to, and we want to grow in that. I heard a pastor several years ago say he'd been challenged to grow in his prayer life, his Bible reading, his sharing his faith, all these things that he'd grown in. And he said God just really very clearly began to poke at that issue of, why aren't you growing in your giving? Why are you stuck at 10? And that was a wake-up call for us. And then I think God used some of our building campaigns to show us, okay, we give above and beyond. If we can do it then, why can't we? And God stretched us. We don't get 800% or anything like that, but to grow in that and see what is that. And the cool thing for us, and probably for y'all too, is to watch our kids handle their finances as well. And to live in a budget, to give, and grow in that too.
Because that's something we made abundantly clear to our kids as well. Hey, you're making money, this is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Again, it's a discipline that you have to practice and install in your life and willfully choose to be obedient here. And we want to help them do that.
Yeah, it's taught and caught.
Yeah.
I think it's both with
Mhm.
that.
And the other thing too is don't be afraid to ask. I mean, there are people who are gifted in doing finances and they will help you sit down and do a budget. Don't be fearful to ask because again, there's no one shoe fits all with with budgeting. Everybody's got different incomes. Everybody's got different expenses and so forth. So that's another thing. People get so paranoid about, well, someone's going to know my business. Well, that's okay because there's people out there who want to help you overcome where you are in your financial pathway.
Well, this issue of finances, right, it is really one of the most hot button issues in marriages. A lot of marriages dissolve, right, over disagreements due to finances. How have you guys navigated disagreements when it comes to how you handle your money, how you handle your finances?
We do what Melissa says.
Okay.
We actually do what Rob says because Melissa struggles with finding security in money. And so that's always been a huge struggle
I struggle
for me.
with that too.
And so I constantly pray, almost daily, for God to let me view money as He views money, because it very quickly, I can get my eyes on that and get very stressed out that we're not going to be able to. What are we going to do? And Satan uses it, so I constantly pray for God's wisdom and for Him to let me view it the way I'm supposed to. And so Rob took over the finances years ago, and I would say I'm probably the more gifted in that area, but I can't handle it emotionally or spiritually. And so I hand it over to him, and it's like, ooh, when every day I want to go, but I don't, because my heart's not, I really struggle with keeping my heart right. So he handles it.
Well, and God's taught us so much through our finances. Even in moments where, I could tell you story after story after story where just financially we took major hits in our lives personally years ago. And we didn't, even when Melissa was working and we just bought a home and she quit to stay home with Jackson, and we thought, we can't afford this house.
Right.
But then God, again, there wasn't a check in the mailbox. I love those stories. It wasn't our story.
There has been before.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. But
what
God's
God
always
has
supply.
consistently done, I feel like in my life, is when I've gotten super secure and I'm like, we're good. I feel like He's taking it away. So I try never to say, okay, this is good. We're in a safe spot, because I feel like every time we do, it's like gone the next day, because that's not where He wants me to find my security. But we've always tithed, always given generously the way Rob's led, and He has always provided in such unbelievable ways.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. I think it comes down to, and Pastor said this yesterday in his message, about submitting to that person that does the finances in your marriage, and which is Christopher and ours, and he definitely is more gifted in that area than I am. And so if he's like, hey, Cindy, we need to hold off on this, I trust him. He's my leader, and he's handling our finances, so I know, okay, we got to put a halt on something, or we can do this trip, or we can go out to this restaurant, and so I trust his leadership in that. And for us, that keeps arguments pretty much,
She just doesn't know about my slush fund that I have on the table.
It's fun money.
That was a joke.
Yeah, joke.
It's our money.
It's our money, yes.
And we don't want to wait on stuff, do we? I want to get it
That
now, do
instant
it now.
gratification, that's the world we
We'll
live
figure
in,
out how to
yes.
pay it, same as cash. Same
But the
as
reality of
just-
it is when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was stupid.
Yeah, we were too.
I don't care. I've got an accounting degree. I was stupid where they handled some of my money because, again, you're right. We want to feed that quick hit. Oh, we want this, we want this, we want this. And so, yeah. But the other thing, too, is that, in our 50s now, I can't look back and say, I wish I'd done this different. Because I'm not going to kick myself over something that happened 20 years ago. Yeah, was it a stupid decision? Sure. But do I need to beat myself over? No. So we just continue on with what God's given us. Grow in the way God's given us wisdom on how to deal with money and how to use it as truly being a conduit. Have enough to, like Pastor was talking about, where we want to be generous to the church. We want to be generous back to God. We want to take care of ourselves when it comes to the necessities. We want to pay our bills, and then we want to have fun. Yeah. Neither of us really are spenders or savers. We're just kind of like stuck in the middle. We're not hoarders and we're not too extravagant, but we want to have fun. And like Pastor said yesterday, going back to the kids with this, giving them stuff is fine, but we intentionally paid for trips to where we built memories with our kids.
Mhm.
And weren't so worried about my retirement when I'm in my 30s or 40s. Now in my 50s, I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got to be a little more laser focused on it than what I was in my 20s and 30s, because what was more important to us was not waiting till we're 65 to enjoy life, but to enjoy life with our kids and take them places and, you know, have these experiences with them. And they weren't super
That's the thing, they don't have to be
It was
this
just having a good time.
massive amount, yeah.
And we got great memories, got great photos, great memories of just doing stuff together. And that just literally continued to bring us all together as a family.
Yeah.
Well, both of you have just oozed this language of generosity, right? And it's one of our values at Christ Place. We value the blessing of generous living. You guys have talked about that from your own personal experience. How has generosity, how has it brought joy to your life, to your family? Any examples that you guys would have for that would just be great.
You know, we got to go to Uganda last year. Had just an amazing trip with Moyo, and we got to meet a young lady there, Goretti, that we give a very small amount monthly for us. I mean, we don't even feel
Supports her needs and nothing
it. And
for us.
when we met her, she just beamed. I mean, you know, we were the only American people there, and yet, you know, she just was so.
Overwhelmed with gratitude.
Yeah,
Her
and we're
whole
like,
family
we
was so
really don't do that
overwhelmed.
much. And they gave, I mean, I think Pastor showed the picture when it happened, but they gave me a chicken. And
Which is
I've
their-
never held a chicken in my life,
One of their
for one
only
thing.
means of
Yeah.
surviving.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, and the lady with us, I'm like, I want to give this back to him, and she said, no, that will offend them.
Yeah.
They were so touched, they wanted to give
They
us.
pulled out chairs, they had us sit there, and it was so humbling. Because again, it's such a small piece of the pie for us. But the missionaries that we're able to help, the people that we do, and then and we're part of the ministry here, so we understand how that generosity blesses the work of the kingdom here. That's just part of our story, I guess.
That's good.
Yeah, for us, to me, it's just the everyday consistent and the generosity that we do through Christ Place, and we support other things as well, other mission trips and so forth. But you know, just the reality of it is that every Sunday, just to come in and see life change, and knowing that, again, being part of the culture of giving to the church and allowing, you know, giving through Christ Place to the ministry that's taking place. It's just awesome just to sit back and say, okay, you know, we go serve at camp and just sit there and say, okay, because of our generosity, I mean, this is not being boastful. This is just saying because of what God's allowing us to give back to Him, we're seeing like life changed all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just refreshing to know.
And they
Even
get to be a small part of
Yeah.
that.
To Christopher's point, starts with the church.
yeah,
That's our first gift. Even I keep a checkbook. I know y'all make fun of me for having a check register not online and all, but that's the first thing that I write in there is so I remind myself, man, I love my church and I want to be faithful. I know they do the same. And then to see that, you know, partnership that we love this church. I mean, my kids were baptized, saved here. So many things. Yeah, all our kids were married here. Just, we love our church, and we love what God's doing in our church. So, to be able
And
to
when
be
you
part of
take it off the top like that, which we all do, it's not like all of that we give, whatever our percentage is now, it's not even, we don't even consider it ours to be able to spend.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just God's. This is
God's.
God's. And when you do that, it becomes such a habit, and then you're blessed from your obedience. You're just so blessed.
And you don't miss it.
No,
I mean,
you
it's
never
just that
even-
it becomes that
No,
continually. You
It's not even ours to spend on any other way except to give back to God.
And to Christopher's point too, the budgeting, we plan it. We can't just arbitrarily, this week I think it's a part of our
It
budget.
just comes off.
And he said, I want to restate it. There are people that can help. Like I've gone to Christopher and said, hey, we're trying to do some things financially. How do we do that? I don't get all that. I know there are a lot of resources and tools out there and they're great, but going to somebody and saying, how do you somebody that gets it, does it well. We talk about that with older kids. How do you do that with finances and getting help? It's a good thing.
So good. Thank you guys for being here. Really, really appreciate it.
Well,
So much wisdom in this room. Just honored to be a part of it. Hey, I do want to say real quick to those who are watching this video, maybe there's a specific situation, a specific question that you have that you'd like to get answered. I want to encourage you to email pastor@christplace.com. Maybe you're just looking for some biblical wisdom in your situation. We'd love to reach out to you and respond to that situation. We also like to invite anyone watching this to Christ Place at Central Campus, 9:15 and 11, also at our North Campus at 11 o'clock on Sunday mornings. All right, y'all. Thanks for the conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.